In 2013, the world of chess watched with anticipation as Magnus Carlsen, the highest rated player in the world, competed in his first FIDE World Chess Championship. At only 22 years old, Carlsen was already a formidable force in the world of chess, and many believe that he was destined to become one of the greatest players of all time. However, there remained one missing piece in his puzzle: the coveted title of World Champion. His opponent in the championship match was none other than Viswanathan Anand of India, a veteran of World Championship matches who had won the title 5 times previously.
So what do you do?
I play chess.
So do I. I mean, what do you do for a living?
I play chess for a living.
But you can't play chess for a living unless you're Viswanathan Anand.
This match was highly anticipated, as it pitted the young and vibrant Carlsen against the experienced and seasoned Anand. Carlsen was in the lead throughout the tournament, and this intense match determined whether he would become a champion or not. The game began with Anand opening with his pawn to d4, and Magnus responding with knight to f6. After a couple of moves, the game turned into an opening variation called the Nismo-Indian defense, where the bishop on b4 pins the white knight on c3. Anand chose a peculiar variation by moving his pawn to f3, and Magnus responded with a pawn move to d5 to have some grip on the center of the board. Anand forced the trade of minor pieces with a3, and after the trade, both white and black had a good grip on the center of the board. Magnus then decided to focus on queenside development, with plans to push his pawns to b5, a5, and b4 later by playing c4. Anand, on the other hand, started to roll his pawns to get a good active attack on Magnus' kingside. Magnus safely castled his king, while Anand prepared for his kingside castling. With his knight moving to the corner of the board, Magnus planned to fork the a1 rook and c1 bishop by bringing his knight to b3 with strong support from the c4 pawn. Anand moved his rook away to a2. After a series of moves where Anand focused on the king's attack and Magnus focused on rolling his pawn on the queen's side, the game reached an exciting stage. Anand started to get more pawns on the center of the board by pushing his pawn to e4. After the trade of minor pieces on c1, Magnus brought his rook to a6, which could stop Anand's attack on the king's side for some time. Anand continued to roll his pawns, while Magnus opened up the queen's side with his pawn moved to b4. After a couple of trades, the rooks got exchanged on a6. Anand then brought his queen to the party, and Magnus brought his knight to add more resources to support his king. With the queen on h4, Anand planned for a checkmate on g7 by bringing his queen to h6. The defending champion seemed to have the upper hand as of now, and the engine suggested the same too. At that moment, Magnus needed to protect himself from Anand's attack. He used his knight to defend the g7 square, but all of Magnus' other pieces were far away from the action. The only hope for Magnus was his passed b3 pawn. Could this one pawn save him and help him win the game? Or would Anand's experience be too much for the young challenger? Let's take a look at Anand's attack. He starts by moving his queen to h6, with a plan to bring his rook to f4 and then h4, potentially checkmating on h7.
The rook!
Magnus responds by pushing his pawn to b2, his only active piece. Anand proceeds with his plan and allows Magnus to capture a new queen. Magnus takes the bait and gives a check. However, to everyone's surprise, Anand blocks the check with a knight move to f1, which turns out to be a big blunder. If you pause the video and analyze the position, you'll see that Anand should have moved his queen to e1 instead. This move defends the h4 square, so even if Anand's rook goes to h4 and threatens a checkmate on h7, Magnus can sacrifice his newly acquired queen for the h4 rook. After this trade, Magnus will be a rook up, and there will be no mating threats to his kingside. Anand realizes his mistake and resigns, handing Magnus Carlsen the full point in this crucial encounter. Thus, with this remarkable victory, a new era commenced for Magnus Carlsen as he ascended to the title of world champion.